Greatest game in the world. If there are no people there to watch it, it becomes nothing.
Johnston. And a goal by Johnston. That makes it 2 by him.
We were magnificent. Magnificent.
Larson. Oh, he's in. Henrik Larsson. That is sensational. Nakamura.
The game is over. The Rebels have won.
He's done it! Galvin's put it in, and without a doubt, the European Cup is on its way.
We'll never stop. We'll stop at half time and we'll stop at the end of the game when we celebrate.
Good evening. It's Tuesday the 14th of June and that is another episode of the Jungle Gym's Tuesday TikTok. Paddy, how you doing, mate?
Okay, mate, just not really enjoying this lack of Celtic, mate. It's horrible.
Aye, it's a wee bit of a weird one. How do you normally cope during the summer when there is a kind of a dearth of football? Is that the right word?
I don't know, mate. Usually, like, there's a tournament on in between, like a World Cup or a Euros or something that keeps you kind of going, but there's fuck all in there apart from, what is it, the Nations League or something? And that's pish. So.
Nations League. It will take me a long time to get my head around that. And that was kind of one of the questions I was talking to you and McGinty about last week, about the kind of modernisation of football. What do you hate? What do you like? And that's one of the things that I don't know how to take to it, the Nations League. I think it will take a while for me to actually understand the concept of it. I'm sure if I put my head towards it, apply my brain towards it, as my teachers would say back in the day, I would understand it. But right now, it's a weird concept. I've got Frank Kennedy off the mark quickly. How you doing, mate? All right, boys, let's go. Don't tell me the Scotland result. I haven't watched it. Highlights later. The highlights are later. It's not been fun being a Scotland fan if you are a Scotland fan recently. One good thing is Paddy Ralston scored for Scotland last week against Armenia. I think they won 2-0. So Ralston gets his first full start. And he scored a goal, which is great news. A couple other Celtic players have done rather well in international roundup, but happy for Ralston. He's had a brilliant season for Celtic and onward and upward.
Aye, well, he's one of the guys that you didn't think would actually get a game with Scotland, didn't he? Because it's usually fucking Stephen O'Donnell or I don't know who was the last guy, Hickey, something like that. You know me, mate, I couldn't give a flying fuck about Scotland. But as you say, nice to see guys like Ralston getting international debut, and surely that can only bring his confidence up, you know, playing for his country, playing in world football, and certainly not a negative.
Well, guys, to the viewers, we've got one guy who's present tonight, Frank Kennedy, who does not want to know the Scotland result from tonight. So if you can, it's going to be a hard one, but please don't talk about the Scotland result from tonight. Frank, it's kind of difficult being a part of social media and making that request, but we'll see if the guys are able to oblige with that one. International roundup, Paddy. So Japan, they lost 3-0 in the Kirin Cup final to Tunisia, I believe. The Kirin Cup final, I think that was Scotland's greatest moment, apparently. Kyogo played 30 minutes of that as a sub. He came on. Maida was on the bench for the entire game, unfortunately. But the good news is Maida did score. He broke his international duck in the semi-final. I believe they beat Ghana like 4-0 or 4-1. That Kirin Cup is a strange kettle of fish, isn't it? Palman, how you doing? And moving on to Palman. Did you know that Georgios Giakoumakis scored his second international goal for Greece? And that was a 2-0 victory. 2-0 victory away to Kosovo. It was one of the kind of headers that you talk about Jimmy McGrory using the neck muscles. It was a beautiful goal, Paddy.
Mate, that's exactly what you want to see for your Celtic striker. A guy that's he's been spoken about a lot at the tail end of last season, coming into a game, getting games and finishing joint top goal scorer in the league, you know, and pretty much playing half a season. So I'm really looking forward to see what he can bring next season. And I think, Gavin, I'm going to make a bold prediction, mate, and say that he's going to be integral to next season. I think he's going to be the guy that's going to score 20 plus domestically. Well,
even bolder would be, how does that affect Kyogo if that is indeed true?
Well, it's a question I had with some guy. It's a conversation, that I had with a couple of guys last night, was how does that fit in? But that's that. That'll, I don't know, mate. Time will tell with that one. We'll maybe see a kind of indicator in pre-season if Ange's going to make any changes to the system, or could they go with Kyle wide and play Jackie Mack? Because I don't know. I'd love to see it, but I can't see it. If you know what I mean. I think it's going to be a season where potentially they're fucking alternated, but I don't know. We'll see.
I think if anyone can deal with a selection headache, and Postecoglou we trust. So we'll see how he deals with it. Again, finishing up with the international roundup, Juranovic, I watched the game. So Croatia played last night against France. It was in the Stade de France. 1-0 to Croatia. A brilliant display by Croatia. Modric in the midfield, and Juranovic, he played at left back for Croatia. So 1-0 to the Croats, and he played the full 90 minutes. It's something to be proud of. When was the last time you thought of a Celtic player playing an international in a high stakes game like that? Oh, I say high stakes, I mean like two quality opposition players. I think for me, you're maybe going back to Larsson, who represented Celtic at a high level of international football. And he wasn't just in there as a kind of tokenism, he was in there because he deserved to be there. So Juranovic playing at left back for the Croats. And as I said, they played the full 90 minutes. They won 1-0. Brilliant for Juranovic. And, after he signed for Celtic, going back quite a few months ago, he spoke about playing with a high calibre of players as international teammates. And he spoke about you learn to be calm with possession. Whenever you get the ball, you don't panic because you're playing with other players who have got a high football IQ. Sometimes if you don't have rich company around you like he does, then sometimes you just kind of leather up the field. You panic. He doesn't. And I think that does kind of show. It does seem like kind of cultured, calm, international calibre of footballer. So I'm happy that Juranovic is flying a flag for Celtic.
I mean, it's good to see somebody that kind of international class, which we'd obviously spoke about last season, Juranovic being the first choice right back for Croatia. And as it seems, as Alan was just as I was about to say as well, he's actually the best right and left back for Croatia. But if you think about what you're talking about, Ralston, we've seen Ralston's qualities last season, saw what he brought to the team. Very, very positive. Juranovic is just different class, isn't he? And I think when you look at Juranovic, he's playing in a team who can go out and beat France, playing with centre-backs who are far more switched on than guys like fucking Grant Hanley and, I don't know, whoever else, whatever Haddy plays for Scotland at centre-back that Ralston's going to be playing beside, you know what I mean? So you can tell like who's going to be coming in with a better calibre, and it's obviously Juranovic. But I think the good thing is that there's that position for next season. There's going to be a fight, and that can only benefit Celtic. Ralston's not going to be happy just being a bench warmer. So he's either going to push Juranovic or he's going to take the spot going on what he showed last season. But I think as it stands now, Juranovic he's the man, isn't he?
Oh, he certainly is, and he's just going to get better. I'm glad that there've not been any sharks in the media. Reports of sharks in it, sniffing around Juranovic and his availability. I would hate to lose anyone. And speaking of losing people and gaining people, let's move on to Cameron Carter-Vickers signing that 4-year deal with Celtic. So Cameron Carter-Vickers, he was one of the loan signings, one of the pivotal loan signings along with Jota, who won the league for Celtic. And we spoke about how devastating it would be if he didn't sign. We knew that all the signs in the media was that it was come to fruition that he was going to sign. But of course, it's not over until the fat lady has sung has billioned out for the rafters. So Cameron Carter-Vickers has signed a 4-year deal. Paddy, how much does that mean for our solidity moving forward?
Mate, it's a great signing. It really is. Obviously, transfer window just opened, and then what do we do? Boom, sign Cameron Carter-Vickers on a 4-year deal. I think for me, the two big hitters, which was Vickers and Jota, right away, I wanted Vickers because you look at how settled our backline was last season. It was either Vickers and Starfelt. That was the main centre back there, and you saw how much they came on as a pair, and that was with Vickers being a loan signing. So now Vickers has got he's got the platform to now be here for 4 years. He's going to be playing in the Champions League next season. He's spoken very, very well, mate, about kind of like finding a home and, you know, seeing and loving what the supporters have given him. So he's potentially got that for another 4 years, but he's only 23, 24. So he's getting that platform next season, the Champions League. Again, going after more domestic honours. So that's really, really good that he's been more than happy to cement his future at Celtic. And again, it's probably one of the hardest positions we would have had to have refilled, you know what I mean? Because of that pairing between Vickers and Starfelt. So if Vickers hadn't signed, Starfelt would have then had to have built up another partnership with either somebody that's there now or another couple of guys that have been brought in. So thank God, getting into the Champions League, we've got a settled back line, so they'll be able to hopefully elevate themselves to the defensive unit that they were last season. And again, hopefully get somebody else in to either back them up or push them on a wee bit. But it really is a great signing. As I say, out of the two of them, 100% it was the one I wanted to see first, was Vickers. So that's over the line. Let's get fucking Jota done as well, and whoever else.
We will see about Jota. We'll see about Jota hopefully soon. I think the deadline for Cameron Carter-Vickers was rumoured to be about the 16th of June, but we had to have agreed a fee with Tottenham. And Tottenham were renowned with Daniel Levy. He's renowned for he's got a reputation as being a hard negotiator. So I'm delighted that we got that over the line. I think it's roughly about 6 million, potentially rising to about 10 million. And the thing about, in my opinion, for Cameron Carter-Vickers, obviously he's such an integral part of the system for Celtic.
Yep.
Before anyone kind of shoots me down, if you were to compare him to like a Virgil van Dijk, I don't think he's near that in terms of height-wise. He's not tall enough. Speed-wise, he's not fast enough. Technical ability, he's not that type of player who would build out for the back. But what he doesn't have that such a world-class player like Virgil van Dijk has is anticipation. He recognises his own talents and his own weaknesses, and his anticipation is heightened because of that, in my own opinion. Another thing is his body strength is second to none in the Scottish Football League. Don't think anyone can get near him. Nobody can nudge him off the ball. And I think he's built up a great partnership with Carol Starfelt, almost as good as Torval and Dean. I don't know.
Fucking Torval and Dean? Surely, mate. Surely there could have been a better fucking partnership than that. You know what I mean?
I'm on thin ice right now.
Torval and Dean.
I'm on thin ice right now. But anyway, I think what he doesn't have, he makes up for in other things, and that's why he's integral to the team. One question though I will ask you and to the viewers: if Cameron Carter-Vickers is one solid piece in the jigsaw, is Starfelt another solid piece in the jigsaw, or is Starfelt improvable? Is he another poor word, upgradable? Is something can we buy someone to be better than Starfelt to enhance the defence?
I mean, I think you can always find better. Like, unless you get like the Lionel Messi or centre backs, you know what I mean, you're not going to get any better than that for what 30, 40 years or whatever. But don't be guys like Starfelt. I mean, certainly, yes, to answer the question, you could do better. But I think not only will the signing of Vickers be integral to Celtic because we've got him back playing, I think because they've spent so much time playing together last season, this will actually upgrade Starfelt as well, because he's not coming into a new season pairing up with a new guy, having to be the leader. You know, the two of the guys know exactly what they're doing. They know exactly how to play. They were starting to anticipate with each other. Chances are it's going to be the same right back, who's either going to be Ralston or Juranovic, and Joe Hart's obviously at the back, so that's probably going to be number one again. So you're talking more fluidity and more much of the same, other than possibly the left back position if we sign a new guy. You know what I mean? So it's no another season where you've had to just rip everything up and start again. This is guys that have played an entire season last season together, and they'll only get better. You know what I mean?
100%.
I'm just going to jump in a wee second there, mate. I'm trying to get through all the comments, everybody, so if I miss anybody out,
By the way, I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's enjoying their summer. And of course, go on and hit that like button. I always forget to say it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Give us a fucking comment.
Right, there's Woodsy Boy. He says, I think we're waiting to announce Jota with the next launch, the second strip. So obviously, Carl Vickers was announced wearing the new strip. But something that I pointed out to you guys as well, that somebody had passed on to me, was that when the new kit was launched on the Celtic website, you know, you can go on and pre-order like numbers and player names and that, Gav.
And who would you order? What player name would you order?
Oh, fucking Mikey Johnston, of course. But no, listen, if you go into the drop-down menu on the brand new strip, this was obviously before Friday, you could have picked Vickers' name, or you could have picked Jota's name. So they two guys are on the drop-down menu for the new strip.
Interesting. Premature or planned? We shall see.
I don't know, but like Beaton's not on it, Rogic wasn't on it, so two guys that had already left on it.
Speaking of Rogic,
sorry, mate, just before you jump on that. What the fuck is that? It's that fucking Miss Easy Mind. She's banging the doors next door. There's Scott Howe, right? Scott, you need to tell us, mate, if you're kidding on with this one, if it's true. Jota happening on Friday by Mo's uncle's cousin. Sells Paradise windfall tickets at Parkhead.
If you were telling the truth and that was the link, I would lie about it and just say, my mate says for definite that this is happening. I wouldn't do that, my boy's uncle's dog fucking blah, blah, blah. We've got Strange Lovely Doctor in the house, Cameron Carter Vickers, undisclosed fee. I don't believe the reported fee is accurate, but we'll see in the accounts eventually. Indeed, I'm delighted regardless. CCV was a key signing for my player of the year. It actually was a bit of a conundrum, not a conundrum, a bit of a weird one that he wasn't named player of the year. Callum McGregor, I think, he got player of the year for Scotland player of the year anyway. Like Cameron Carter Vickers was a popular choice by many of the Celtic fans. Maybe that helped us in our negotiation and kind of bringing down the fee for Tottenham. What do you think, Paddy?
I don't know. I seen obviously there was a wee bit of rumour that Spurs had actually released into the press that there was a deadline on the optional fee to try and kind of push Celtic into doing it quicker. I don't know, but I'm just delighted that that one's on the line, mate. I really am. There's Alan Wood saying, hey Gav, going to give us a look at your bolero with your Torval and Dean stuff. I don't know what the fuck a bolero is. I think it's a dance, but there's the wonderfully named Wally Stroker. Hey Paddy, did you know that Ramsey missed a sit-up penalty against the Germans and the current Huns got beat up at Frankfurt? No, mate, I never knew that. I'm fucking delighted. Well done, mate. Thanks for the breaking news. Stephen Coulthard, 18 days to my wee break to sunny Greece. Good for you, mate. Hope you have a lovely time in the sunshine with the kebabs and ouzo and shit. Where are we? Where is he? Scott Howe. So obviously getting back to the pals, Mo's, uncles, whoever it was that worked at the Celtic Park selling the windfall tickets. Bulging, Scott Howe, he says it's gospel. So if Jota's no sign for Friday, next Tuesday, Scott, don't fucking show your face on here again.
Friday. And of course, to the viewers, what do you think of the away top that we've got? The one where it's the stripes, it's kind of a throwback to the 90s. At the back, which is black. What do you think about that one? Are you going to buy it? You like it? Hate it? Woodsy, I think you're not a fan of it. And by the way, I like this one. What do you think of this one, Paddy, for the 90s?
Love it, mate. So right away when I see it, it either reminds me of Peter Grant or Pierre Van Hooydonk. It's the first two players that come to mind when I see it. But it's a lovely number, mate. But see the new one, it's a beauty. It really is.
And speaking of the 90s, just to give you a wee on this day topic, Lou Macari was sacked from Celtic. He was a manager. He was appointed on the 27th of October, 1993. He took over from Liam Brady and then Frank Connor, who was the caretaker manager. Then he was sacked 8 months later on, of course, this day back in 1994. Now, to the younger viewers, and by the way, I would actually kind of be curious as to know the age group, the average age group of our viewers, whether they're like our age, older, younger, whether we're patronising people by like explaining who Lou Macari was. By the way, did you know that his first name was Luigi?
Yes, Italian, mate.
Well, there you go.
And he was a plumber.
He was a plumber, and his father was a plumber.
No, it was a.
Oh, fuck! Super Mario, fuck you!
Oh, his dad was a plumber.
He wore dungarees to fucking parquet, didn't he?
Aye, sorry, mate, that was a pure heavy that joke.
I pure walked right into that, man. Walked right into it. Did you know that he was born? By the way, do you remember the movie, the Super Mario movie back in the 90s?
Terrible, but great.
But Bob Hoskins, was it? Aye.
No, yes, mate, terrible.
I didn't feel bad.
I actually watched that a couple of months ago with it, Wayne. I seen it, and I was like, "Do you want to watch this, pal?" And he's like, "Aye, all right." And they watched it, and I was sitting there for about 2 minutes. And I'm like, "God, this is fucking awful." Movie. Even the Wayne's like, this is terrible.
Aye, it was a long time since I've seen it, man. Fucking hell. But Lou Macari, so he was one of the kind of the quality speak gang. He won a few titles under Jockstein and the 9 in a row tenure. And he actually, I think he had his best ever season as a player. And I think it might have been 1972 or 1973 when Celtic got to, correct me if I'm wrong, the semi-final of the European Cup when we could beat back Inter Milan on penalties when Dixie Dean skied over the bar. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. I wasn't there, but I've seen it.
Granted. So anyway, he was a bit of a fan favourite. He was a centre forward. He got a lot of goals, but whenever he left and he went to Man U, I think he was one of the first players to kind of break the mould. Where if you're from Scotland and you're playing for Celtic, you stay with them for life. He was one of the first ones to break the mould and follow the money. Went down to Man U. But we actually had a lot of good strikers back in those days, like Dixie Deans, Bobby Lennox, Kenny Dalglish, etc., Harry Hoods. So we weren't short up front whenever he left. But he went down to Man U, where he probably should have went to Liverpool at that time. But eventually, when he came back to be the manager of Celtic, it was a torrid time. He wasn't given much money. He signed players such as Carol Muggleton and Wayne Biggins. Funnily enough, he actually sold Wayne Biggins, despite the fact he was only manager for 8 months. But he oversaw the takeover of Fergus McCann, but he was sacked about 3 months later. Ironically, after his first game as manager, Celtic beat Rangers 2-1, although I think Frank Connor actually made the lineup for that game. But after that first game, he told Tom Boyd never to cross the halfway line again. So I think that kind of set the mould for his pragmatic, boring, doer approach to his managerial stewardship of Celtic anyway. Still had a few good players, like had Tom Boyd, John Collins, Paul McStay.
Mate, when I hear Lou Macari, Celtic manager, the first thing that pops into my head, and I'm sure this is true, 95%, was that he was the one that was basically, he was the man that was kind of responsible for Shay Given leaving Celtic because he was offered a new contract on the back of a Benson Hedges packet of fags, wrote on the back of a packet of fags. So, if that's the case, then fucking what a dick.
You wonder what our coaching setup is like. I know that McGinty, if he was present tonight, he'd probably have a field day about the coaching staff. I don't know if we ever had a designated goalkeeper coach back then. Who knows? But if it was Macari who kind of signed that off, that is embarrassing. It is embarrassing.
And there's There's Stephen Coulthard with the most obvious sentence of the year. Wayne Biggins was crap. Yes, I think we can all agree with you there, mate.
Yeah. Another thing about Lou Macari, the rumours are that he was noted for his absences during training. A lot of the time he wasn't there. And
well, there's Woodsy. That was a comment I was going to bring up as well. So there you are.
And I think his wife is American. I could be wrong with that, but he had poor management skills. There was a poor relations between the playing staff and him, of course. I think people like Peter Grant, Jerry Craney, and Charlie Nicholas publicly vented their feelings about him as a manager. And Frank McAvenny, who I think he talked to, Frank McAvenny did say that Lou Macari was one of the worst managers that he'd ever played under. But bygones be bygones. Anyway, Tommy Burns took over.
Thank God we went to the total fucking opposite of the spectrum. The worst manager to the best manager, one of the best managers. I mean, look at the influence that your man has had on us. What a job.
Paddy, 1 year of Ange. And I'm going to open it up with this. If the opening chapter of his tenure, indeed, if the genesis of his time as Celtic manager opened up with chaos and uncertainty that he'd inherited, and then he managed to win the league, what can he do in his second season where he's already laid the foundations, but now he plans to design a team to reflect his own personality? How do you sum up what he's done? What's your expectations? Ange the man, 1 year in charge.
Well, obviously, first of all, when he came in, mate, I never ever suspected that I would hear the words a year later. You know what I mean? Ange Postecoglou, here for a year. I genuinely didn't think that at the time. I thought it was a cheap option. I thought it was a option that was absolute ludicrous lunacy. I was wrong, thank God. But no, mate, his first year was a few ups and downs at the start, but once we got going, mate, it was beautiful. Some of the football was absolutely incredible. The sense of optimism, the positivity, everything just ended up almost perfect. There was still a lot of blips, you know. Europe later on, getting out, making mistakes. These things happen, but no, definitely. We won the league. Brilliant result. That's us into the Champions League. Great stuff. I'm actually expecting. I'm expecting more next season. I'm expecting for these fucking profits that's the Australian supporters and the guys communicating for Japan or whatever that Ange's second season is where you see the best of Ange. You know, once he's had a year or 6 months, whatever, to work with a team and get them moulded into his image, then you will see the proper football. So hopefully that does coincide with getting into the Champions League, mate, and we will see one or two stonkers in the group stages, because we've not had that for a long time. You know, we're due a great night under the lights at Celtic Park.
We are. I know that popular question of who would you want as opposition? To be honest, if I'm going to be honest, I want the easiest opposition. I would take Eintracht Frankfurt as the top seeds in the group, and then whoever two other teams. But
Frankfurt, I think we should give them a hero's welcome at Celtic Park when we play them.
A guard of honour.
Yes, mate. A fucking a guard of honour right for the Gallagher to fucking Celtic Park. Just clear the path. Let them score as many goals as they want. Aye, batter in, lads.
Aye. I would take the easiest group possible, but of course, you can't really control fate. So, what will happen will happen. It will be an interesting season. I know that what we've heard, as you spoke about the prophets from Australia, the people foretelling that the second season under Ange is always even more entertaining. It's always better. At the same time, I don't want to take that for granted. It's going to entail a lot of hard work. Ange's got a full pre-season with this group of players. and that's going to be the bed of work, which is going to propel us to whatever success we're going to get next season. We need to put in the hard yards right now. Obviously, fitness, that goes without saying. Any manager would do that. But the coaching, that needs to be embedded right now to enhance us, to get better and better and better. And of course, the recruitment, I've got no doubt that the recruitment, whoever we bring in is going to be planned. It's going to be, I know that kind of thing where if you want a left back, you go for your number 1 target, your number 2 target, number 3 target, and you go for whoever you get, because there's so many factors which are involved in that. But I can't take it for granted that we're going to win the league next season, that things are going to be interesting and entertaining in the Champions League. There's going to be a lot of blood, sweat and tears, and probably domestically a lot of nervous moments too, because there's no getting away from it. Rangers finished off strongly at the tail end of last season. We only finished 6 points ahead of them. I think it'll be an entertaining season from a spectator's point of view anyway. What's your hopes and expectations and your fears for next season?
Well, clearly hopes is that we win every single trophy going. That's the league, the 2 cups, Champions League. Realistically, I want the league and I want a good showing in the Champions League. Wow. But again, like as you say, mate, there's no certainties. But I'm very, very confident the next season we will see a better team, a better Celtic, a better Postecoglou. For where he came in at the start of last season, he came in his own. He had to come in and build up a rapport with guys like John Kennedy, Gavin Strachan. Teach these guys his philosophy as well as the players on the park. And you know what the squad was like last season. But we've already saw Anton Macalon coming in during the season early on. He'll work on the fitness. The fucking Portuguese guy, I can't remember his name, the data analyst. A few weeks ago, Mark Lawwell announced as the kind of transfer guru. So he's going to have plenty of time to be working his magic with Ange, getting other targets in, getting who they want. And then you look at who's been linked in the last couple of days. Harry Kewell, the fucking best player that Australia's ever produced, undoubtedly. I hope that actually, whether that one comes off, I don't know. But it looks as if that's on its way. So if that does come in, then that's Ange finally getting one of his own men. Well, I say one of his own men, but one of the guys that he's identified to come in and work on the first team coaching stuff. So that's good. So the ball's already rolling. We've got Carter Vickers in. We'll be linked with what's his name? Bernabeu. Is that his name? The left back, Argentina guy.
Yeah, the Argentina.
Yeah, you're talking about guys like Benji Siegrist as well. So, listen, things are good. Things are good, mate. They're looking good. I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks, and obviously pre-season's coming up, and there should be 1 or 2 players in between that. And I don't think we're going to lose anybody substantial for the team as well. So,
yeah. 2 points then I want to talk about. First one is Harry Kewell. The other thing is about our next game in terms of you don't think there's many people of substance that we're going to lose. So the thing about Harry Kewell is more about Ange Postecoglou. He doesn't seem like a man who does things by accident, by fluke. He always seems like a very, very deliberate type of manager or professional. And I think if he's going for Harry Kewell, not because that he's Australian, not because that he's a name, and it's not because of the modest success that he's had as a manager in England, if you want to call it the modest failure, whatever way you want to put it. I think it's quite a deliberate thing with Harry Kewell, and he's not just bringing it in to kind of make people say, "Oh wow, he played for Leeds, he played for Liverpool." I think there's something quite deliberate, but maybe there's a specialist role that he sees for him in the coaching staff, or maybe somebody in the coaching staff is going to leave Celtic. But I would rather hope and believe that he's going to come in and enhance it, and that is deliberate. That is going to maybe a specialist role. I don't know, work with the strikers, work with the midfielders, one way or another. I would like to see that it's part of the plan, not because he's a name, not because he's got an Australian accent. What do you think of Harry Kewell?
Well, obviously as a player, mate, as I say, he's probably the best player that Australia's ever produced. great years with Leeds. Maybe not so much with Liverpool and that, but tremendous player. As a coach, I'm not too sure. I know he's had a few management roles in the lower leagues and this and that, but what he can bring as a first team coach, I really don't know. I'm going to have to presume that Ange is more than well aware of what he can do, and if he does bring him in, then he's confident that he's got qualities there that can elevate the squad. Hopefully, you know, if he uses his experience as a brilliant winner, he'll be able to help on the likes of like Jota, Abada, bring them onto a game. But then again, he could be coming in as like a technical coach or a pass. I don't know. I really do think we'll just need to wait and see, mate.
As you said, an unknown quantity. We don't quite know what he's like as a coach. We've just heard about what he's done as a manager. But I think if Ange is pinpointing him, if it is true, if Ange is pinpointing him as a coach, then there's a plan, there's a method to the madness. Another thing is, we're signing players. We're signing Cameron Carter-Vickers roughly, what, 6 million, maybe minimum. We would think that Jota, if we do get Jota, 6 million minimum. And then on top of that, at that point, you're buying players, because if we bring in Cameron Carter-Vickers and Jota, that's kind of the status quo. That's how we finished up with last season. At that point, we need to buy above and beyond that to strengthen. I think that, in touching on your comment, that we don't have anyone of substantial talent to sell, or that people are coming in to buy, such as last season, Edwards, Christie, Ayer. We don't have those type of players that we're pushing in the shop window. They're making those moves that they want out. They have agents that are making the moves. I think that this season will be our biggest net spend. Well, it might not look pretty on the books. However, the books might be bolstered by the Champions League income. But I think transfer-wise income and outgoings, we're going to be spending a lot more on the incomings rather than the outgoings to kind of balance it up. So 6 million, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Jota, take it for granted that does happen. How much?
I think you're spot on there, mate. As I said, like, I don't imagine that we're going to see anybody substantial for the team leaving. We've signed Vickers for 6 million, reportedly. You also remember that Maeda, his transfer is going to come down as this one as well, because obviously it was a loan. It's now been made permanent already. So that's 2 loan guys that we've signed on permanents. So he'll be in this kind of season's transfer figures and that. So listen, but I can care less how that works out. Do you know what I mean? I just want us to buy players that's going to either keep the team good or elevate the team. So a few more players of good ilk, and then let's have a crack in the Champions League. Under the lights, Celtic Park, Tuesday and Wednesday nights. Can't wait. Plus, I'm going to get to a couple of away trips.
Exactly. I remember you saying in the chat that you were hoping to go to a couple of away trips. Is there any countries that you're like, no, fuck that, there's no way that I'm going there? Or any particular countries that you're like, fucking yes, I'm on a plane? How does
I don't want to go to England. I don't want to go to England, right? I'm fucking sick of the fucking sight of England. I'd love us to get like a Real Madrid or a fucking Bayern Munich or something. Germany and Spain, that'd be the 2 good ones.
Is this alcohol orientated and weather orientated? Yes.
Yes, obviously. No, I would like to get Real Madrid, because we've never played them in a but we've not played them for a long time competitively. I don't think we've ever played them in the Champions League. Well, haven't we? So they would be a good team to get. Obviously, the Champions League winners as well. So it'd be nice to go and pump them in their own background.
And we're probably coming up to that kind of golden moment where Benzema and Modric and Casemiro, they're just getting a wee bit too old now. Maybe we can catch them cold. You never know. I
would love to see. I don't know whether right back is fucking somebody try to chase Maeda down the line. You know.
I am. Anyway, moving on to the actual summer. So I think Celtic have released their pre-season fixtures. We've got 6 friendlies which have been announced. There might be more to add. You never know. And by the way, some of these players need a fucking break. Like, You know what I mean? Like, you finish a full season and then you're on international duty. Like, give the boys a break. I would say I saw Premier Sports going to be showing a few. Aye, exactly. So, 6th of July and the 9th of July, we're playing two unknown teams in Austria.
Yeah.
On the 13th of July, we're playing in the Czech Republic, and I think we're playing against the champions, Baník Ostrava, who are celebrating their centenary. So, happy anniversary to you guys. And then coming back to Scotland, on the 16th of July, we're playing Blackburn Rovers at Parkhead, and that will be on Premier Sports. And I think today, who was announced as a Blackburn Rovers coach?
John Dal Thomason.
Aye.
Do you remember him for that famous
yes.
press conference at Ibrox? You know, they need the money, you know. Don't you know this? They need the money.
He endeared himself to the Celtic fans of that. Oh, that was so good.
Yes, and then his team went and get pumped that night at Ibrox, if I'm fucking remember right.
Yeah, very good. What was that? Was that Mulder?
Malmo.
Right. Yeah. So a couple of days after that, 20th of July, Legia Warsaw, and it's for the Artur Boruc tribute match away in Poland. Artur Boruc, Legia Warsaw against Celtic. It'd be quite nice if Juranovic could make it as well, because of course that was his former club. Hope the Celtic fans who do go and travel abroad for that game are able to have a great time with the Legia Warsaw ultras, because I hope they give them a warm welcome. I hope they truly do. But Artur Boruc, what a legend for Legia, a legend for Celtic. In my opinion, the most colourful goalkeeper of all time to play for Celtic, Paddy.
Listen, I would have him up there, you know, up for debate whether he's the best goalkeeper we've ever had. But I love him, mate. I always did love him. Even though his last season wasn't very good, he was quite lazy and kind of fucked up the heat like. But at his best, mate, he was probably the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. I know Big Fraser Forster probably on paper is the best goalkeeper I've ever had, but for me, Boruc, absolutely loved him. Crackpot, could pull a save at his arse, and he was probably the first world-class goalkeeper that we ever had at Celtic.
And he represented Celtic in the World Cup for Poland at one point as well, which was great to see.
Yeah, and I think that was the season where we were talking about like AC Milan coming in and buying him for like 10 million at the time, which was a massive amount for Celtic. But you just think of Boruc and you think his first season, because I think he was on loan, wasn't he? I think he was on loan for the first couple of months, and then we made it permanent.
Was it understanding?
Yes, but I think it was McGinty that actually said it was Martin O'Neill that kind of got the ball rolling with signing. I'm not sure it was news to me, but he came in under Strachan after David Marshall obviously was given the kind of number one jersey. Then we had the Art Media disaster. Then this Baldy guy from Poland came in, and I think his first foray into Celtic was a pre-season friendly. I can't remember who it was against, but he saved a penalty, and ever since then, you know, he was always good for saving a penalty. But you think about Boruc and you think about his games against the Huns and kind of the colourful character he was, and then, you know, the game he was like dancing away after fucking Celtic won the penalties and the saves against Saha at Celtic Park at Margarita. Unbelievable guy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him finish off his career, mate, with his two loves in football, playing off against each other. Obviously, his boyhood team Legia and his real team Celtic.
Totally. And it'll be interesting what he does afterwards. Maybe his post-football career might well be as interesting as Tommy Gravison. You never know.
I read something the other day, and he was asked if, you know, he would go into coaching. He says, no, I've got no interest in doing anything at football. He says, I'll probably move to California. He says, because I'm starting to feel aches and pains. And that's the reason why I'm chucking fit boys. So I just want to go and stay somewhere that's full of sun all year round.
Porn stars and poker, maybe.
Yes, or poking porn stars, whatever. I don't think his wife will be too happy with that, but just fucking ask Ryan Jack about that one.
Oh, that was a weird one. Weird one indeed. Somebody put in a post about Ryan Jack, what he was wearing. He looked like fucking Beetlejuice with the fucking shirt. That was a funny one.
Yeah, I fucking say his name 3 times and he appears at the end of your bed.
That's a great movie. That'll be a Tim Burton movie. And the final game of the pre-season is Norwich City at Parkhead. I don't quite know what inspired that one, but so Norwich City, they have been relegated. They're going into the Championship, so I might see the return of Timo Pukki. Right.
Fuck I forgot about him.
But the last 3 games, Blackburn Rovers, Legia Warsaw and Norwich, they will all be on Premier Sports. Not that we are sponsored by Premier Sports.
As long as it's anybody other than Sky, you can say their name. Fuck Sky.
Indeed. Unless, of course, Chris Boyd jumps ship. And
hopefully jumps off a ship.
It would be nice into a fucking gaping jaws of a whale or something like that. Paddy, apart from that, international roundup, Cameron Carter-Vickers, Harry Kewell, transfer rumours. Is there anything that grabbed your attention, transfer rumours? I know there were but back to football, any transfer rumours?
Again, mate, it's just a waiting face. It's fucking somebody saying face. A waiting game on Jota, whether to see where that transpires. Of course, we've seen the pre-season. I'm talking right. We've seen the photos from his holiday. He's cutting about in New York with a Celtic top on. Not just a training kit, like an actual Celtic home top. Playing fucking football. People spoke to him and heard this and that. We've had Scott Howe on telling us that his auntie's uncle's wife's butler does the windfall. Says that he's signing on Friday. So hopefully that one transpires. But then, you're having guys like Alejandro Bernabeu, I think his name is, the Argentinian left back. He's been quoted as signing. You've been linked with the young boy from Man City, Bailey Hardwood or something. I think he's a bit of Burnley. Ko Ekatura, the big Japanese fella. Again, that's kind of all media rumours. And the other one was somebody mentioned earlier on in the comment as well, the boy Vinicius Souza, who is playing with the Belgian team at Lokeren, I think it is, who are he's partly owned by the City Group. So I think that's why he's been signed. The Brazilian kind of defensive midfielder, but I was reading somewhere that the team have knocked back £6 million from, or £7 million from, I don't know, fucking Galatasaray or something. Say. But I don't know if that one will be transpiring, mate. So there's a few in the pipeline, but again, it just sounds like all media spin so far.
If we were to make Jota another permanent signing, would you have any negative impressions of us making further use of the loan signing policy?
It would depend, mate, because I really don't think that we need to sign a hell of a lot of players. I think we maybe need a goalkeeper, right? Because we have lost 5 goalkeepers there through all levels at Celtic. So I would definitely be for bringing in another guy, say Siegrist, for talking sake. Possibly another centre back, because I don't think Julien's going to feature much.
Oh, we need another
centre
back. One of them get injured. If CCV or Starfield get injured, let's say if they get a bad injury, well, I don't want to say we're fucked, but we're close to being fucked. We need depth there.
Well, I mean, no disrespect to the boy, but I don't think Stephen Welsh is the man to be stepping up. You're talking about Scales. Scales is possibly going to Aberdeen, if the rumours are true. So that's another guy who's is able to play in the centre-back position. I think the only one for me who's at the club now who could possibly step up would be the big fella at the back. God, what's his name? The big boy in reserves.
Bosun Lawal.
Lawal, mate. Sorry, totally fucking. There's somebody walking about outside me. It's put me half of the window. Lawal. I would probably bring Lawal into the setup. But other than that, I think you definitely need another centre back. So if you were to go out and sign, say, Itakura on loan, I would be more than happy with that, mate. More than happy. As long as we signed Jota, because then that would be 3 loan guys that we've turned into permanents. So that would bode well for the following season, you know.
Paddy, you know how years gone by, kind of unpopular signings, but still important signings. Like people like, forgive me for saying it, but Stephen Presley, who was kind of over the hill, but experience-wise, even Daniel Mastorovic, they did a job for a bit. I know the long term, we were sceptical, like, why the fuck are you doing that? But for the short term, they did a bit of a job. And then we got fucking rid of them. But Jink Postecoglou is pragmatic enough to kind of recognise, why don't I get in an older head just in case one of my 2 centre backs get injured? I think he'd be pragmatic enough to do that.
Yes, well, look at Joe Hart. Look at Joe Hart last season. Very much an older head, a guy who was out of favour everywhere, a guy who, even though he was like 30, 34, 35, still had a lot to prove. You know, had a lot of people to fucking have a go at his detractors. So, I mean, I don't think he's always just going to go for like 22-year-olds, 23-year-olds, blah, blah, blah. There's a potential there that he can bring back somebody. I don't think he'll do it with any outfield players, the midfielders and forwards, you know, guys where he wants to be pacey, but certainly maybe the centre back where our guys have got scope to kind of just sit and defend. They don't need to be guys that are running out the box and bringing everybody else into play. But we'll see, mate. We'll see. As I say, it's a wee bit kind of cards close to the chest, isn't it? With signings.
And you need to be that way. You don't need to be that way. You don't want to show opposition teams how much money you've got to play with in terms of how much you're bidding for. You know, one player who I would have loved to have got on a Bosman, an older head, James Milner from Liverpool. So I thought, I don't think he's going to get much time at Liverpool, but he has signed, unfortunately, another deal at Liverpool. And he's made more than enough money in the game to retire right now. I just thought. Do
you think then that possibly? What do you think about James McCarthy this season?
I think that if James McCarthy,
do you think he's got a point to prove as well?
Oh, he certainly has a point to prove. If he impresses this season, then I will be delightfully surprised. Put it that way. Yeah,
I hope it does, mate. I hope it does. I hope we get at least one season where, you know, it's the player that we expected, the players that we wanted to see, the player that we missed out on for tenure. So
it'd be great. Same time though, there's a few unknown quantities. Another guy who's at the different end of the spectrum in terms of like age-wise, Itaguchi, still in his 20s, should be coming into the peak years. Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds spoke very, very highly of him, although he never quite made the grade at Leeds. Postecoglou signed him for a reason. I said a couple of weeks ago, 3 out of 4 ain't bad in terms of the Japanese signings. 3 have done well. The 4th, Itaguchi, has had an injury. It's not really, you know, how do you replace the captain of a club? Callum McGregor, he's playing the number 6. It'd be interesting to see what Itaguchi has got to bring next season. Postecoglou, you know what I mean?
It's still interesting to see what his position is, because when he came on that last game against Motherwell, wasn't it? You know, he played kind of more advanced, whereas we've been told he's a deeper player. So it's still to be seen what his position is and what type of player is. But when you look at guys like Hatate, who's going to have he's in the middle of a break, he's having a pre-season. And even guys like Turnbull, who's coming back, you know, he's got a point to prove as well. Certainly, he's got a point. He's got a point to prove for me because I've been a bit of a critic of his, but
To a lot of viewers who watch our podcast, they'll be familiar with Dale from Celtic Supporters podcast, and he's a big advocate for David Turnbull. I know that me and you, Paddy, we're kind of on the same page, but we're not quite sure if Turnbull is up to it. But Dale is. Dale thinks that Turnbull is a player and he will come good at Celtic. So we hope we're proven wrong.
I think he has got quality, Gavin. That's what annoys me about him, is that for me he's almost too kind of nice, like a kind of spice boy. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't he get into the rough and tumble? He kind of tries to hide at times by going out wide. Wants to just get the ball and make the Hollywood pass. Doesn't he want to be the guy who drives the team on? Like, look at last season when Rogic got injured early on. We didn't have that guy who would pick up the mantle in the midfield and run from midfield to forward, get forward like the kind of box-to-box type advanced midfielder, whatever you might call it. It should have been Turnbull, but he never done it. And that was at a point in the season where we had to drag ourselves forward, and it never happened. And it coincided with a bad run that everybody was kind of saying, is this the right appointment with Postecoglou? Is he the man to get the best out of the team?
Indeed. Next season will be a big season for a lot of players in terms of convincing Postecoglou that they're good enough for Celtic. It'll be make or break. It's quite harsh about it. Make or break for a lot of people in terms of their careers at Celtic, including people like Mikey Johnson as well. Paddy, we've covered a fair bit tonight. Celtic transfer rumours. You know, the tabloids are having a fucking field day because that's all they've got to sell papers right now. Just make up lies and the rumours. But we'll go back again next Tuesday, and hopefully we've got something substantial to talk about with Jota signing. But tonight, it's been all about Cameron Carter-Vickers, and that's been fucking massive. Absolutely massive, because if you were to take out Cameron Carter-Vickers, then it takes away the progress that we've built so far. So I'm so happy about Cameron Carter-Vickers, but hopefully next Tuesday...
Over the moon, mate. Over the moon.
You can't
especially on a 4-year deal.
And if he wants to fucking dance under the lights, I don't really see him as much of a dancer, but if he wants to you know, entice like potential suitors in the Champions League and get in bids, then fair dues, do it in the Champions League and we'll get the money for it. Mm-hmm. But for Jim Dolan, I've got butterflies already for next season. I'm glad you're feeling that way. The players having a full pre-season, expanding on what's been going on before. Can't fucking wait. Paddy, I can't fucking wait either, man. It's looking good, and hopefully next Tuesday, as we said, we'll get good news like Jota, for example. Any other comments that you want to show up before we exit for tonight?
Yes, just again, thanks to the guys for tuning in and having a wee chat among yourself. Put the comments in as well. Gypsy King, great show, boys. Thank you very much. Scott Howe, great show, lads, as always. As always, mate, thanks for the comments. Thanks for everybody interacting. Without you guys, we couldn't be us as well. So, to all the new posters that's on the night, give a wee like and a subscribe, all that jazz. And try and get our subscribers up as well.
I would love to get to 800 before the start of the season. That'd be, I think we're roughly about 20, 21, 22 to go.
I don't know, mate. Unlike some other folks, we are not really massively fucking all about subscribers. But it's nice to see, that number going up because it helps us out, believe it or not.
Well, we're certainly not all about the money because we don't fucking advertise whatsoever.
But don't need it either. Me and Gav are minted. No, he is.
Manscaped can go fuck themselves.
Don't say that, mate. They might bring us back in.
No, don't say that.
Here's another wee one there. Thanks very much, Kieran, mate. Pleasure. Great pod at the Jungle Gyms podcast. A wee bit of something more real for the Tims. Yes, mate. And as always, we'll we are what we are, mate. We're as real as can be. Scott Howe, still want to know, is Paddy after the vapes? Yes, mate. Trying my best.
How long has that been?
Don't know, about a week.
Nice.
Back on a health kick, mate. Half a drink and all to next week. Couple of weeks off it.
Well done, mate. Well done. Aye, that's brilliant. Are you doing anything to replace it?
I just want to let fuck. No, good on.
Yeah, again, to the viewers, thank you so much. As Paddy said it, without you guys, it's not that much fun. Thank you for the comments, thank you for the likes, and again, go and hit that like button, please. Subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Hope you're happy tonight, and by next Tuesday, hopefully we'll get Jota in the door. So,
I think we'll probably get Jota in the door before we get McGinty back on. What do you think?
I think Jota has made far more appearances than McGinty.
Brilliant. Cheers, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll see you next Tuesday.